Have you ever wanted to create exclusive commands for people of different roles within your stream? Some extra incentive for subscribers or VIPs or maybe even for your moderators. You can actually do it pretty easily through streamer.bot. It's a third-party tool similar to Mix It Up if you're familiar with that one. With some setup, the bot can distinguish between normal chatters, subs, and whatever other roles you'd like to establish. This allows for you to add an extra layer of flair to your channel with further incentives for their support. It also can give further control over the stream to your moderators, empowering them with commands only they can use that can change your scenes, adjust the volume of certain assets in your stream, or toggle assets on those current scenes. Especially helpful if you're one of those people who forgets to tab back in from your just chatting scene over to your game scene. I've totally never done it myself. Once you have the application installed and open on your computer, you're going to need to connect a couple things to make sure that you're able to actually make use of these new features. So the first thing you can go to is your stream apps here and actually integrate the your OBS, your Streamlabs desktop, your Meld Studio, or your Polypop, whichever broadcasting software you're using. You can also go over here to the integrations tab, and under here you can connect things like Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Tits, Elgato stuff, and Vtube Studio as well, so you can manipulate those applications through it as well. You're also going to want to go to the Platforms tab here, which will allow you to connect to your Twitch or YouTube, and for the sake of this video, we're going to focus on Twitch, and in this case, you'd go over to the Accounts tab underneath Twitch, and you would connect your accounts here. You can have actually two accounts. You can have the broadcaster account, which is the platform that you would be streaming from, as well as a bot account, which would be if the bot posts any type of text-based things in the chat, or moderates through the chat, you can have it designated through a secondary account, which would allow you to have an account that's basically, I guess, flavor. You can name it whatever you want, and it can add a little bit of personality to the moderation on the automated side within your chat. Now, for the first thing we're going to implement here is we're going to go for a immediate refund feature. So if you're trying to get actions in here that you're going to try and have in your stream, and you want them to not penalize people for redeeming a channel point reward if they do not fit the role that you're trying to designate them to, you're going to want them to get their points back. So the first step to that is to go to the action section as I clicked here. And you're going to go over here to this left side space. You're going to right click on this space and hit add. This will open up a little box here, and you can name it whatever you want to name it. For the sake of this though, we're going to name it refund, and that's all you need to do. So it's going to open up a command here that you'll be able to see here. And now we're going to completely manipulate everything else from the right side here. So the next step is to right click in this sub action area. You're going to right click. You're going to go down to Twitch. You're going to go down to rewards. And then you're going to go over to update redemption status here. This will open up a little window here. You'll have two options underneath here, cancel and fulfill. You're going to want to hit cancel. So what this will do after you confirm it, this will make it so that when this action is actually triggered, it will cause it to reject the redeem, right? It'll cause it to reject it, and it'll refund the individual channel points. So if you're trying to make a redeem that only works with your subscribers, a normal follower will not actually be penalized for this. So instead, it'll just proceed to refund them their points and not follow through with whatever the rest of the redeem is going to be. And also, if you want to just to let the people know that if they redeem this option and they don't qualify to trigger the action, you can go here, right click, go to Twitch, go to chat, go to send message to channel. And from here, you can type in whatever message you want. You could say, sorry, you are not a subscriber. Your points have been refunded. And then press OK. And so now when this action is triggered, it will cancel the channel points, refund them back to them, not trigger off the event, which will establish that later. And then it'll also fire off the message saying, sorry, you're not a subscriber, your points are back. So they know that they haven't lost anything, and they also know what they have to do to potentially use that redeem in the future. So now that you have your subscriber redeem set up to be filled in with actions, go over here to the sub action area and right click the space again. Go down to Twitch, go down to users, and go down to get user info for target. This will open up a little window here that says add target info and the source type. So by default, it's set to broadcaster, which would be yourself, but you want to hit the little drop down window and go to user. Okay, it'll create a section here that'll make it so that When it is redeemed, the bot will then check that specific user who redeemed the reward. It'll check their information and allow you to proceed from there. So it'll look for information like, are they a subscriber, are they a VIP, or are they a moderator? It can go further beyond that and search information like view time, timed followed, all that kind of information. It just basically parses their account. So you can get that kind of information and allow the bot to function from there. From that point, we're going to want to create the logic statement that decides how the rest of this application will function. So you'll right click here again, you'll go down to core, and you'll go down to logic. From there, you'll go to if else. This will pop up a little window here with the logic statement. So this is going to be the bread and butter that decides if this actual thing works or not for you. So in the variable space, this is where you'll end up filling in what the role is that the bot is trying to parse for. So this will be where you decide, is the person a subscriber? Are they a moderator? Are they a VIP? Etc, etc. In this case, the base statement for this is all lowercase is. So whether you're looking for subscribers, moderators, or VIPs, you would have the lowercase is, and then you would have, moderator in here, or you would have subscriber in here. In this case, we're going to use subscriber. Do note though, if you do put VIP in this space, it is a capital V, lowercase I, and a lowercase p. If you put all capitals, VIP, like the acronym would be, it will not work, and you'll wonder why your application is not working. But in this case, we're going to use subscriber. So lowercase is, capital S, the rest of subscriber. From there, under the operator section, leave it as equal, because this is just going to trigger the next variable. So in the value section, you want to add the word false. And then, so what this is going to do is it's going to cause the bot to then go, is this person a subscriber? And then it goes, oh, they are not a subscriber. So what's going to happen in the action section? It's going to be that refund action that we did earlier. So now when we select that in there, it's going to go, oh, they are not a subscriber. So we're going to refund. And then what you want it to do from there is you want to change the then value right under run action immediately to break. So then it'll do, is this person a subscriber? No, they're not. I'm going to refund them their points, send a message in chat saying, I'm sorry, you're not a subscriber. Here's your points back. And then it's going to kill the rest of this redeem. So it's going to make sure that whatever you have after this doesn't happen. If you have it set to continue, it's still going to do it anyways, and it's going to refund them the points too. So you don't want that to happen. Under the else conditions, you don't have to add anything else. From this point onward, the application will go on as normal from here. So if it does parse their account, sees that they are a subscriber, it'll ignore this break and all this stuff up here, and it'll go right down here to continuing to the next objective. And from this point onward, it's going to be basically down to what you want this to do. So I definitely recommend going through all the menus in this application, as there's a lot of stuff that you can actually do. So when you open this right click menu, you can go through all of the applications you have, like Polypop, which again, I'm not familiar with that one. You can go through OBS, you can go through YouTube, you can go through Elgato and all kinds of other integrations like Tits and all that kind of stuff, which will allow you to go through there and manipulate those applications. You can even go into OBS here and have it do something like taking a screenshot or switching to a specific scene. You have all these different options that you can do for these kinds of redeems. But in this case, we're going to do it really simple, and we're just going to have it do a sound. So in that case, what you would do is you would go down to core here, you would go down here to sounds, and you would have play sounds. So this is going to open up a screen here, and you have to decide at first what the audio is going to come through. So under the audio device section from here, you can go to, in this case, I'm going to use the game one because I know you guys can actually hear that on the scene. And then you can choose the file that's going to play. And so in this case, I'm going to pick this Jeff the Shark sound effect that I happen to have on my desktop. So as the event would trigger, you would hear that noise. And so I'll add this in as effect. So now how this supply chain here kind of sounds is it goes, hey, who's this person? Are they a subscriber? No? Refund. If the answer is yes, then it'll play the Jeff sound. Makes it pretty quick, easy, and simple. The next step here is creating a means for it to trigger. So up here in this top box right above the sub actions area, you can add the thing that'll trigger it. So you can do a lot of things from this. Outside of this application that we're trying to make right now, the specific command, You could make it so that every time you get rated, something happens. So every time you get rated, it would do something, or every time some kind of word is said in chat, it'll do something. But for the sake of this, we're going to go into right-click into the triggers area, go down to Twitch, and we're going to go down here to Channel Reward, and then we're going to go down to Reward Redemption Updated. From here, this will come up with a little window. So if you have a command already, which these are all my commands on my channel, you can attach a command directly to it. Whatever that might be. Maybe it's your hydration thing, maybe it's a specific sound effect or visual effect. You can put it in here. Or alternatively, you can hit create reward and create your own thing. So for the sake of this, I'm going to create something, and I'm just going to put it's Jeff, right? And I didn't put the, you know, proper the proper spelling there, but it's fine, it's whatever. You're going to put it's Jeff in here, and then you're going to come down and you can decide how many times per stream it can be used, how many times, you know, a user is able to use it per stream, a cooldown, which could be very nice if your chat is very spammy. You can have the cost appear of how much it's going to cost to use it, just like you would over on the Twitch dashboard. But for the sake of this, I'm not going to do anything crazy, and I'm just going to hit OK. So now we have It's Jeff as a redeem, and I'm going to put it in there. Now, every single time It's Jeff is used, it's going to check the user information and the chain of events that follows to decide if the audio is going to play or if the person's going to get their money back. This is just one quick example of what you can actually do with streamer.bot. You can do a lot of things. I'm actually currently working on a redeem that will make it so that when someone redeems a specific redeem, it will give them a daily yokai and it'll put the yokai up on the screen. And so they'll have a visual element and maybe a text-based element that'll also tell them what exactly that yokai is. And I'm going to put a couple dozen of them in there as a result. I currently also have one that does a daily fortune. So when people redeem it, it'll give them a fortune. And eventually I'm going to actually have it even more complicated than that. And I'm going to actually give it effects that'll happen. So maybe sparkles will come up on the screen when they get a blessing. Or maybe if they get a certain kind of curse, it'll just time out the user for like a minute. It'll add a little bit of spice and interactability and kind of variety to it. I can even change the variables of the likelihood of something happening, kind of like drop rates in a gacha game. I can actually go that far and decide, hey, well, what if there's only like a 0.25% chance that this will even happen? You know, I can make it so the odds are skewed and create a lot of different fun things, which opens up a lot of ideas for, you know, future comings. But with streamer.bot, you can do a lot of things. And through what I just taught you, you can designate specific events and different channel points redeems, or even different commands to people with different indicators on their accounts. So you can actually give an extra incentive to subscribers, to VIPs, and to moderators. For a lot of us, you know, we just have maybe like a Discord role, or, you know, obviously the usual ad-free viewing and emote access. Through this, you can actually go even further beyond that and give ways that they can interact with the stream that no one else could. A further incentive for people to stick around and engage with your stream.